welcome to the Kids Club cooking videos. This is the Nelson Community Food Center kitchen, and I just would like to acknowledge that we are cooking, working, playing, living, laughing on the land of the Ktunaxa, Syilx, Sinixt, and Secwepemc people. Thank you for watching. Let's get cooking. Hi everybody, welcome to the Nelson Community Food Center kitchen, Kids Club meal kit edition. I'm going to be cooking some beautiful leek and potato soup today with you guys. Before we get started, I just want to mention me not wearing a mask. I always wear a mask in the food center here, as do all of the staff and the volunteers, but for these videos, just so you can really clearly understand me, I don't wear a mask, and my video man stands on the other side of the room. So today, this rustic leek and potato soup is brought to you by us here at the Nelson Community Food Center and the School District 8 Aboriginal Education Team for their Drop It Like It's Squat Fitness Challenge. We're talking about healthy eating, and a big part of healthy eating is cooking for yourself and learning how to cook for yourself, because when we're eating prepared foods from grocery stores or restaurants, they're usually higher in things that we don't actually necessarily need in our body, like sodium, salt, and sugar. So when you prepare food yourself, you know everything that goes into the food. And I like to keep it really simple with a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruits. Seasoning, of course, to make it delicious with salt and pepper, but you're aware of what you're putting into your food. So I think that's why it's so important to cook for yourself, and it's super fun. And the possibilities are endless. If you love pizza, you can learn how to make pizza, and it can probably be pretty good and be not so unhealthy, you know? So we're going to start off with the leek and potato soup. I've got my vegetables prepped here. So I have my little potatoes who are cut into just sort of bite-sized pieces, because we're not going to be blending this soup. So if you have a blender at home and you want to blend your soup, or an immersion blender, you could cut your potatoes into bigger pieces. But this way they're going to be nice and the right size for our mouths, and they'll cook nice and quickly as well. And then I also have my 2 leeks, which I washed and chopped up. If your leeks are really dirty, because sometimes they can be really dirty, like the dirt will get all in between the layers here, you can chop these guys up, put them into like a pot of cold water, or fill up your sink with a little bit of water, and just let them sit for a minute, and the dirt's gonna all fall off and go to the bottom of the bowl or the container, and you can just scoop those guys out of there and they should be good to go. You might have to rinse them a couple times depending on how dirty your leeks are, but I think mine were looking okay. I don't know, somehow there wasn't that much dirt on them today. So we've got our leeks, our potatoes, I've got some olive oil, which I'm going to throw in the pan to start off, about 2 tablespoons, and I also threw in about 2 tablespoons of butter into this pot here. And butter and olive oil, the key to making something super delicious at the start. So I'll get this little funky stove of mine working. Alright, I'm back with a new pot. My induction stove, I don't really seem to understand exactly what kind of pots it likes and what kind of pots it doesn't like, but I found one that it does like, and we're going to keep on rolling. So I'll get a little more olive oil in there. We lost some in the transition. My butter is melting, my olive oil is heating up. So once my butter is all melted, it's going to start foaming. At that point you want to add in your leeks, or your alliums, which are onions, leeks, garlics, those guys. We're just adding leeks to this soup today. Once it starts foaming, it can quickly burn, so you really want to add your vegetable in at that point. Because I mean, brown butter when it's lightly cooked is nice, but burnt butter is not so nice. I have a little look-see here. Yeah, starting to foam up. We got a couple little pieces left, so I'll wait for those guys to melt. And then I will add my leeks. So a super important step along the way is to add your salt. So salt is just amazing because it brings out the flavors of the vegetables. And it also does this cool science thing where it releases the liquid from inside the vegetable. So we're gonna let the alliums or the leeks do what I call sweating. So that's when we add a little bit of salt to the pot. We pop the lid on, and all of their beautiful leaky juices inside are going to leak out of them and create a really nice base for our stock. So I'll be back in just a minute when these guys have softened up a little bit and let out some of their, or leaked out some of their beautiful juices. Okay everybody, we're back, and our leeks are kind of softened up in here. They're looking great. We're gonna be adding the potatoes next. Just a little note about potatoes, especially russets, they oxidize really quickly, which means they basically, once they've been exposed to air, they get all the kind of brown like this. So if you want to avoid that, let's say you wanted to chop up your potatoes a while before you're going to be cooking them, you just would put them into a pot with some water, and that would protect them from the air, which is turning them kind of pinky brown. But not too worried about it. I'm going to add these guys in here. So that was about 3 potatoes that I cut into these nice bite-sized pieces. I'm going to mix them all up in there, and I'm going to add a little bit more salt again. Beautiful. Mix that up. And in a minute, we're going to be adding our liquid, our soup base. So in the recipe, I've suggested you can add 4 cups of water or stock and 1 cup of milk, or I'm going to use coconut milk here. Surprisingly, it doesn't really taste like that Thai coconut milk flavor when you add coconut milk to these things. It just sort of is a really nice rich creaminess, so I'm a big fan of the coconut milk choice with this soup. I'm just going to add water for sake of simplicity, but please add stock if you have some stock in your fridge. Stock is super easy to make. It's also pretty cheap if you want to buy some stock. Toss it in there, but water works great too. So I'm going to add my 4 cups of water, and I'll mix that all up there. And I'm going to add my 1 cup of coconut milk too. Or 1 can of coconut milk, sorry. Coconut milk is so cool. It's got all this like nice liquid on the bottom, and all the fat rises to the top. Alright folks, so this is looking kind of boring right now, but it's going to be super delicious. It's going to be looking a lot more like soup when we check in on it in a little bit. Fun fact about leek and potato soup, it was my favorite soup for my whole childhood. It's super simple, but it's just so yummy. Okay, so I'm going to let this buddy here roll for probably about 20 to 25 minutes when the potatoes become nice and tender. All the flavors have mixed in together. So over that time period, I'm going to let it come up to a high boil. I'm going to give it a good stir, and then I'm going to turn the heat down, however you turn your heat down, and get it down to about a medium-low where it's gotten some nice little simmering bubbles coming up to the top, which means it's definitely cooking, but it's not boiling super hard. And the lid on is going to keep the steam in there, which is going to make sure that we don't lose too much of our liquid. So yeah, we're going to let this go for like 20-25 minutes, and I'll be kind of stirring it every couple minutes just to make sure nothing sticks to the bottom and burns. So I will see you soon with my leek and potato soup. Okay, we're back. It's been about 20 minutes. The soup has been brewing and stewing, and it's looking totally soupy at this point. Before, like, I feel like this always happens when you add a bunch of water to soup or sauce or something. You're like, how is this ever going to turn into the thing that I want it to? But time, my friends. So we've got this beautiful looking soup here. And I think I'm gonna I've got this kind of epic potato masher. I'm just gonna do a couple of mashes here to break up some of the vegetables, and that's gonna let some of the potato starch thicken the soup up even more. All right, this thing is crazy, eh? Okay, so leek and potato soup complete. Next, we are going to be showing you guys a video about how to make barrack, which is what I'm going to recommend that you eat with this delicious soup here. So we will see you hopefully again soon in our next video. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks School District 8 Aboriginal Education Team for asking me to do this sweet video with you guys. And see you soon in Bannockland.